Ms. Lauren Squires is your class speaker. The Provost Selection Committee chose Lauren for this honor from a group of outstanding candidates nominated by our academic programs. Lauren Squires of Longview, Washington, graduates today with a Bachelor of Arts degree in urban planning with a minor in sustainable design. A graduate of Mark Morris High School and Lower Columbia College, Lauren is fascinated by the interplay of place and quality of life. In addition to her studies at both the Huxley College of the Environment and Fairhaven College of Interdisciplinary Studies, Lauren was an impassioned advocate for sustainability in Western's campus community. She served as Associated Students Director of Environmental and Sustainability Programs and worked in Western's Office of Sustainability, organizing events and programs promoting sustainability in the student community. Off campus, Lauren worked as a summertime river rafting guide in Idaho. She's demonstrated her devotion to bicycle transportation last summer when she returned here from Idaho, bicycling the whole way, over 400 miles, and climbing 4,000 feet in elevation 3 times. Please welcome your class speaker.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share with all of you today. And I am just one story of many in this room today. We each have such different journeys in earning our degree. So I'd like to start by sharing a bit of my story with you. My name's Lauren, and I'm a Huxley student and a Fairhaven student. Don't ask me to explain, it's complicated. I'm an only child, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad, for the past 30 years, has worked at the same paper mill in my hometown. And I've become an environmentalist since coming to Western, and I'm working through the fact that my family's livelihood is based on the cutting down of trees. So I have some tree karma that I'm currently working off right now. So I transferred to Western, and if you count the time that I was at community college, I've been in college for the past 6 years. But these atypical, unconventional journeys that have delivered us here today is what gives our degree value. It's the growth that's happened along the way that is meaningful. So in our short time together this morning, I just want to invite you, fellow graduates, to reflect on that journey, to think about all of the life that has gone into this degree we've earned, the pride of our accomplishments and the challenges of our struggles. That investment of life is what gives this privilege of a degree value. And as we all know, with privilege also comes responsibility. And as we define the value of our degrees for ourselves, we must remember that we're now a part of a privileged minority. We're responsible to positively contribute to the world out of this meaningful growth that we've experienced. And so, to me, that's an empowering notion. And if I could share one insight that I've gained during this time, during this formative season of university, trying to figure out how to create a life after my passions, it's that we have the power to shape our own experience of this world. The world will give us exactly what we ask from it, not a penny more or a penny less. And that's a quote from my mother. So that's not to say that it's going to be easy. There are external pressures that can shape our life paths for us. Those can be things like going with what's convenient or avoiding something because you're scared of it. But there's a force inside of us that we can exert on the world as well. Shape the world from the inside out, rather than letting external pressures shape your life path for you. And our degrees, they empower us to counteract these barriers. And there's a lot of people without that privilege. They have an exponentially harder time working against those limiting barriers. So we have the responsibility to use our strengths and our passions to change the world for the better. And I found that doing this hard work that I'm talking about, of actively shaping our lives, it's like swimming upstream sometimes. But when you're clear about what's really important to you and the dreams that you have determined to make a reality in your life, that's when you can shape your own life path. So a while back, I heard a quote that speaks to the fear we usually feel when we're looking at taking a risk. And normally we fear that the world's going to conspire against us, but I found that it actually conspires to support us. So this quote says, "When you ask something of the world, it will conspire to support you." And I experienced this truth last summer when I was a rafting guide in northern Idaho. I'd never lived in Idaho before, and it was beautiful, it was hot in that little canyon, it was also kind of lonely. So when I was thinking about how I was going to get back to Bellingham from Idaho at the end of the summer, I decided to ride my bike. I took a bike tour from Moscow, Idaho to Bellingham, Washington, over the North Cascades, which kind of sounds crazy to a lot of people. So I haven't always been good at bicycling, but I found it to be something I was super passionate about during my time in Bellingham. It's a fun, social, environmentally conscious means of transportation, and as an urban planner, I kind of geek out about things like that. So, but here's the nugget of wisdom I want you to take away. It's that upon deciding to bike home from Idaho, when I asked that of the world, I found that it conspired to support me. I'd never been on a bike tour before. I never even pedaled more than 50 miles. But once I decided to look at the world through this lens of, this is what I'm going to do, that's when I started to find opportunities. People were really quick to share their gear and their bicycling expertise with me. They were quick to offer help, food, or even a warm place to sleep. And this was a solo trip, mind you. I did this by myself, so my folks were freaking out the whole time. My mom was on her knees praying the entire time, and I'd call every evening with these reports of just these serendipitous blessings that I would encounter. And I'd be met with a praise the Lord on the other end of the phone. And whether you think it's the universe, or you think it's God, or just something bigger than us, the world will conspire to support us when we resolve to make our dreams a reality. So in committing to make that dream of mine a reality, the world served up one of the hardest, most worthwhile adventures I've ever had. And yes, it was really inconvenient to pull together all of those connections and just to walk out into the unknown to try to make this thing happen. But because I was looking, the path emerged. And it can happen like that for you too. Put feet to your passions, be brave, and give merit to those, I'd love to do that someday thoughts. Give merit to those. Because those dreams and inklings, they're like a roadmap inside of us that lead us down the path of living a life we love. Those random interests that seem hard to connect, those are the important dots to connect in your life. So I'll conclude with a quote from Steve Jobs. He said that it's impossible to see how the dots will connect looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. But believing that the dots connect, believing that they will connect down the road, will give you the confidence to follow your heart when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that's what makes all of the difference. Find what you love and don't settle. Well, friends, we today are granted these degrees with the privileges and responsibilities therein. And my hope for us is that we will find what we love and not settle. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lauren, for those heartfelt words.